Welcome back to Expedition Extreme. I'm Sean Mayer, and this marks the beginning of our Africa trip. I'm still at home in Dubai. I'm in the man cave at the moment, waiting for the taxi to come and pick me up. It's 5 to 1 in the morning, and I'll be heading off to Johannesburg. I wanted to just touch on what we're going to be doing, set the tone of what's going to be happening over the next couple of episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes this will end up being, but we've got a very busy schedule. The reason for putting this together and heading off is to give you an alternative. Instead of going to Thailand or to the Maldives or Seychelles or your typical 10-day getaway during the holiday seasons that's coming up right now, or school holidays for that matter. So if you're not in the Middle East and you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you have between 2 to 3 months to entertain your kids. And typically, we either head back to our home country or we head off to the good old faithful islands and go and spend vacation with our family. I want to show you what you can do with 10 to 15 days. All you need is, I've packed a bag, my camera gear, and my fishing gear. Right, so the trip's gonna start off in Johannesburg. We're picking up a rental overland fully equipped vehicle. We're going to have a vehicle that is set up for 4 people, 2 rooftop tents, cutlery, you name it. I will run through it later in the show once we meet the guys from South Africa 4x4 rental, and we'll go through the vehicle. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Keep watching the show and you'll pick it up in the next segment.
Trying to find a quiet spot here in the airport is pretty much impossible. It's 2 a.m. in the morning and this airport is bustling. Just to change some money, for Mozambique it makes a lot of sense to get USD. You can get local meticas and you can pay in South African Rand, but USD does go a long way, so it's good to have. I would recommend having about $200 on you at any given time for any issues that may arise. I'm not going to say that bribery is the way to go, but TIA, this is Africa, and it's good to be prepared.
Good day, ladies. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, good, thank you.
190. Mr. Mayor, it's me 22 for 320. We don't make an ounce.
320, fantastic, thank you.
Joys of flying Emirates, everything is always on time. 3:20 in the morning and we're on our way. So 8 hours from now we'll see you in Johannesburg.
Hey there, how you doing? Yeah, good, 19 Charlie. Thank you.
Just arrived in Johannesburg, 8 hours on the flight. Actually, we arrived a bit early, so everything all in play. Luck will have it, one of my bags didn't make the flight, and we're trying to get it onto the next flight.
I'm super excited. I've just got here to South Africa 4x4, and this is the vehicle that we're going to be using for the next 15 days. Land Cruiser 79 series. Something that I've been looking to buy for some time right now, waiting for the V8 and then hopefully do a 6x6 conversion. But this is it. 15 days going to be my new home. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
All right, you've been packing my car.
Yes, I'm busy packing your car.
You're getting it ready for me to go?
Yes, of course. It's going to be finished now. I put for you some extra Centrex.
Yeah?
Sharpen the egg for you.
Yeah?
Everything is okay.
Excellent.
Excellent, yes. Yeah, everything
So I'll
is
see
fine.
you in 2 weeks and I'll tell you whether you did a good job or not.
No problem, sir. I hope you're going to enjoy your trip.
I will.
Must take a lot of pictures.
All the time.
Yeah, and send to us.
Right, so I'm here in Johannesburg. I was met with Carl. Carl's come to pick me up, brought me through to your HQ. And we're going to be renting a vehicle for the next 15 days traveling through eastern part of South Africa, through the Kruger National Park, into Mozambique, and then back to Johannesburg. So a brand new experience that Carl has opened me up to as a rental overland vehicle versus my own trusty steed. So Carl, welcome to the show. Thank you for your hospitality so far. It's been absolutely fantastic. I wanted to take this time and sit down with you and talk about rental versus shipping my own vehicle. Carl, I can't thank you enough for the hospitality so far, and your place is absolutely phenomenal. Your cars are dreamy. So how did you start this off? Where did you come up with the idea?
Well, it started off about 8-9 years ago. Very simple. I'm fortunate enough to be in Africa, and I could go on these African expeditions from time to time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share that with a lot of my friends and colleagues that sits overseas, and they come back with their friends and colleagues and families. And eventually I had to buy a second vehicle in order to accommodate them, and that grew into 3, and 3 became 4, and eventually 8 years later we sit with a fleet of about 50 vehicles. And it's still the fun element of it, and it's still the same basic principle. I still want to go show you what Africa is about. Go and have a bit of fun. And trying to do it as effortless as possible.
So you got 50 vehicles in your fleet right now. What do they comprise of? Do you have one brand? Do you suit different? How do you match that up to the person that's going to be renting it up?
The classical discussion is still obviously very prevalent in South Africa. Toyota versus Land Rover. We started off with Land Rover 110 Defender. Very simple. They are the iconic safari vehicle. Simple as that. And yes, that's where we started off. As the years went on, clients came back to us and said, but hang on, we don't need such a rugged 4x4, and the Toyota Hiluxes fit the family type of setup. Mom, dad, 2 kids, not as adventurous to get into the major national parks, so that vehicle fitted very well. And then some of our clients came back to us eventually and said, but hang on, just upgrade the Land Cruiser from the Hilux. And so we sit with those 3 vehicles.
So you got a full range. So your cruiser families, they can come and get the cruiser. Your Land Rover diehards can rent a Land Rover diehard, and your basic wanting to get into the off-road. Well, I suppose there's a cost difference as well. So there's a budgetary difference. It's not just by preference of choice, because I can only imagine that your Land Cruisers are very expensive here in South Africa. The Defenders are becoming more expensive because they don't make them anymore, and your Hilux is far cheaper. So that range, there's an obvious difference in the range?
No, definitely. Besides that, you've got your personal preference. There's a budget constraint. Everybody operates on a budget. Find that the Hilux would be the entry level. It is a cheaper car to buy, and therefore we can rent it out slightly cheaper. The Land Rover is very interesting. Like I said, it's end of line for the Defender. We'll see what will happen supply-wise in South Africa. Currently it's quite good. We're quite comfortable for the next 2 to 3 years we'll have good quality Defenders. And the Land Cruiser in this side of the world is definitely top of the range as far as expenses are concerned. And that's for the entry-level models. And it's still an awesome vehicle. It really goes where it needs to go to. And but we can offer the range, and then it's pretty much where you're going. That will determine which one you'll need, and then obviously who's going with you, and then thirdly I think the budget kicks in.
Right, for the viewers, we've been discussing this, and I've been discussing my trip with you and where we're going to go, but I believe you didn't even have to customize the vehicle to fit my trip. Tell us basically what do you offer in the vehicle? What do I need to bring with?
The way the whole rental is put together is very simple. You arrive in South Africa, Southern Africa for that matter, with a bag of clothes, and that's it. The rest would be there.
That's it. I don't have to worry about a GPS,
sat phones, sleeping arrangements,
sleeping bags,
pillows,
towels,
all there. Cooking gear, gas, everything supplied. Locally you would buy your own food, whatever your preference would be, and off you go on your adventure.
So basically I need my clothing and I need to purchase food for my adventure.
Correct, yes.
But now I want to cross borders, so I'm crossing a border. Surely I need to get
my insurance is done, I need to ensure that all the documentation, because border crossings aren't, well, sometimes they're easy, but it's a file of documentation like this that's needed.
Correct. Knowledge is a good start.
Yeah.
We've worked it out over the years.
Yeah.
We prepare your documents for you. There are about 8 pieces of documents that go into the.
So you take care of the entire border crossing documentation. I don't have to do anything.
No, negative. You don't have to do anything. Everything is provided. Our vehicles do about between 200 and 250 border crossings in a month. And
Okay.
yeah.
So you're
going
truly
well.
experts if you're doing 250 border crossings a month. Then,
Correct.
Yeah. So you say you've got a number of depots. We're at the Johannesburg HQ right now. Where else are you? Where else can I fly to the next time and pick up a vehicle?
The principle was very simple. Africa is huge.
Yeah.
From here to drive to Namibia is a good 2 days. A lot of clients would not have the time.
Yes.
So Windhoek, Namibia would be a branch. Cape Town in South Africa is a second branch.
Okay.
Zimbabwe, Harare, we've got a branch.
Okay.
So we hear all the stories about Zimbabwe, but Zimbabwe still remains very popular, and
Yep.
it is an awesome tourism destination.
Definitely.
Newest branch was Lusaka, Zambia.
Yeah.
Slowly what we're trying to do is get a footprint all the way to Nairobi, Kenya, so we can cover East Africa and make sure our vehicles can run there.
So you mentioned, obviously time, because if you pick up a vehicle here in Johannesburg, it might take you 2 days to get to Windhoek to start your trip through Namibia, and you cutting that time short. Now there's a fine line about the amount of time that people can get off work and actually do an adventure trip like this. And this is where I wanted to discuss rental versus shipping your own vehicle. I think the way that programs like this and the likes of Charlie Bowman and Ewan McGregor with Long Way Round and Long Way Down, Andrew St. Pierre White, All for Adventure, a lot of these guys, Ronnie Dahl, they've opened up the market and really sparked the adventure in people, instead of going to an island or instead of going to Serengeti and sitting in the back of a vehicle all the time. But time is of the essence, because most of these people have a day job.
Correct.
So you got 10, maybe 15 days off. Not many people can take 60 days off. So where do you find the cost benefit renting a vehicle or shipping a vehicle?
You do find that a large portion of the market would be your typical 2-week, 3-week holiday maker.
Yes.
They come in, they do what they need to do. They
Yeah.
usually come back a second, third, fourth time because of the large expanses of Africa.
Correct.
To eventually cover and see pretty much everything. Then there's a large portion of our clients that will come in for 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. A couple of clients that come out for a year.
Wow.
Time, money, yes, always interesting to ask how they finance these things.
Yeah.
But a lot of them would, especially when you reach, there's a sweet spot after 60 days, they would start thinking about either buying their own vehicle
Correct.
or shipping even their own vehicle to Africa.
Yes.
And that's another component we get involved with. We can assist with the shipping, we can assist with the storage down here in Africa.
Oh, so you do store. So if I had to purchase a vehicle here, and I was to store, you can assist with that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And
That's,
then do your preparation 2-3 weeks before you arrive, and get your
Yeah.
vehicle out of storage, have it serviced, have it let it run a bit.
Yeah.
The vehicle needs to run, those are the best maintained vehicles. And basically prepare it so by the time that you come back, it's pretty much 95% ready for your adventure.
well, I'm looking at this trip specifically right now. We have 2 vehicles going on this trip. One, Carl is, we're renting from Carl, and we're going to be using South Africa 4x4 Land Cruiser 79 series. And the second vehicle is a very good friend of mine based here in Johannesburg that's going to be joining us on the trip. And he's had to go through the rigmarole of getting the insurance documents, ensuring that he's got the right stickers, triangles, all the paraphernalia, fire extinguishers, and there's so much the hidden stuff that you can find, but it takes some time to do. And the mission that he's gone through this week trying to get it done versus me arriving here today and you've literally going to hand me the keys and I leave tomorrow morning and it's all done.
Yeah, we go through the same rigmarole. We just have an
Yeah.
administration team behind the scenes that does it.
But there's a cost benefit.
No,
Because I would have
no,
lost a
fact.
week if my vehicle arrived in Durban, for example, I would have had to go to customs, get my vehicle cleared,
Correct, yes.
then drive it up here, get to Johannesburg, then start the rigmarole and trying to get it into Mozambique. I would have lost possibly another 3 to 4 days over there.
Correct.
Whereas I've only got 10 to 15 days on vacation. I arrive straight from the airport, you picking me up at the airport, I do the vehicle check, start the car and off I go.
Simple. That's the advantage of the rental.
You know what, I was very apprehensive when we were putting this trip together. You know how much I love my vehicle and I love what I've done with my vehicle. Everything is in the right place. And moving from that, it's my vehicle, I know where everything is, to getting into a rental vehicle and not, the unknown to me is scares the living daylights out of me. You know, does it have a cooker? Does it have pots? Are there enough knives? And we've run through the vehicle. I'm going to be spending a lot of time filming this as we do the trip, so I'm not going to show you that portion right now. But trust me, it has absolutely everything. And I've actually learned some tricks that I don't have in my vehicle. So there's parts that you've got on there that I've never thought of. Obviously, it's Africa specific, but it's a nice to have. Even if I'm traveling in the Middle East with my car, it's a great thing to have regardless. And we'll run through that anyway. But I'm absolutely gobsmacked, as I said, very apprehensive in the beginning to seeing the vehicle and going through, and the absolute phenomenal service that I'm getting from you guys. Very friendly team. The workshop's just over here. You can see everything that's running around and how the guys are maintaining these vehicles. I cannot believe that this is an easy business to run.
No, it does
50 vehicles.
have its stresses, but there is a serious amount of fun
Yeah.
and adventure in it, and that's ultimately what keeps us going. And
Yeah.
the best would be when you're back in 2 weeks' time
Yeah.
to come and share your experiences
Of course, of course.
together.
Well, I mean, that's the point that I'm trying to make is have a beginning point and have an end point. What happens in between, try and leave that as open as possible, because you've got a fully equipped vehicle with a roof tent, with water, with you name it, everything's in there. Don't try and complicate it by saying that I need to go to this lodge, I want to be there, I want to be there. Go and explore. These guys are giving us the ability, very well maintained vehicles, and you can go absolutely anywhere. So stick to our motto: if it's dusty, drive it. If you're flying to South Africa or anywhere in Africa, get a hold of the guys from South Africa 4x4, rent one of their vehicles. I'll put my stamp on approval when I'm back after 2 weeks, but right now, first impressions, fantastic.
Okay.
Carl, thank you. And
you.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Be safe and have a bit of fun.
Of course, of course. Exploring is what we do.
That's what it's about. Awesome.
Thank you.